Welcome back to Planet in the South. This is I think we're on episode 5 now of our Southern Living, our Reader's Top Rated Recipes. And tonight, even though I'm wearing a sweatshirt and it's cold and dreary outside, we did an easy tropical luau. So tonight we did a tropical spinach salad with, instead of grilled shrimp, we did grilled tofu. So we left the kitchen for a bit, went out to the grill and did some tofu. It looks excellent. And then we did our little salad. We made a vinaigrette for that. It was an easy meal. It's good for a weeknight and gets us kind of in that summer spirit, even though we have all this crappy weather outside. So for our tofu shrimp, we are going to cut up an extra firm block of tofu. So I'm just going to slice down the middle of this one here. And then I'm just going to be cubing this up. And then I'm just going to add it to a bowl, and then I'm going to put my marinade in that same bowl. All right, so my tofu is all cubed up in this bowl, and then I'm just going to make the marinade right on top of it. No, I'm not. I'm going to do it in another bowl. Okay, we can't always get the right bowl size the first time, so we'll just take this, pour it in this larger bowl, and then we'll make our marinade in this smaller bowl here. So, our marinade is a citrus marinade. So the first thing we're gonna have in it, the base of it, is gonna be orange juice. And of course it says fresh squeezed orange juice. I do not care about having fresh squeezed orange juice. I don't really even like orange juice. So this one will work, and then somebody will drink it later on because it's not gonna go to waste. So it calls for 3/4 cup of orange juice. Put that in our bowl. Then it calls for 2 tablespoons of lime juice. And if you've been here long enough, you know that when we get down to these tablespoons, I'm eyeballing it. And I like a lot of lime, so that's good for me. All right, garlic. So you already know what's coming with that one. Jar of garlic. 1 clove, yeah. And then it does say fresh basil. I looked to see if I had it in a jar or a spice can or something like that, and I didn't. So I did actually buy basil for this one. It says 2 tablespoons of basil. So I'm just gonna chop that up roughly here. And I don't know what kind of knife I have to do some chopping with, but it's what I cut my tofu up with, and that's what's gonna have to go here. It's just a marinade after all. All right, we got a rough chop there. This is not a knife skills or a cooking class. This is a making recipes class. So if you need knife skills, Gordon Ramsay, not Chelsea. And then it says crushed red pepper, but I cannot do that much heat. So I'm gonna put some Old Bay in there because this is supposed to be a play on shrimp. And I like Old Bay, if I can get it open. Oh, there we go. I'm just gonna throw some Old Bay in there. And then to make it stick to our tofu, we do need some olive oil. So it says 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Again, when we get to tablespoons, we're just eyeballing it. One quick look, make sure we got everything in there. And we do, so we'll give that a stir. It definitely smells very citrusy. The basil and the orange juice and the garlic are definitely all coming through. This is what mine looks like. There we go. Now I have my bowl of tofu here, and I am just gonna pour all of that marinade on. There's no need to reserve any of this marinade here. Spoon that around. If your tofu is on the softer side, I do recommend you just get in there and using your hands, or your tofu will crumble on you and then you will have nothing to add to your skewer. Mine is pretty firm, so I'm gonna use my spoon, and now I'm using my hands because those are my best utensils. So we are gonna put this in the fridge and then let it sit. I'm probably gonna let mine sit for about an hour or so. In the meantime, depending on what kind of grill you have, so my grill is gonna take, I have a pellet grill, it's gonna probably take about 30 minutes to heat up and get to temp and where I want it. So about halfway of letting this marinade rest, I'm gonna go get my grill started. So do not forget to do that, or you're gonna be really disappointed when you go to cook. Our tofu has been marinating for about an hour, so now we are just gonna go ahead and assemble our skewers. So the extra firm tofu is definitely the ticket here to make sure that they don't all just crumble whenever you put the skewer through them. They're going on there quite nicely. I am leaving a bit of space between each one, just so that this kind of smoke flavor and the grill marks can get on every piece individually. If I see that I'm running out of skewers, then I'll come back and make them a little bit smaller, the space between, but I do not want them all bunched up on top of each other. And there are going to be some pieces that just fall off like that, so just keep those on a plate, and then we will be able to put those on later. And if not, you can always just put them on a sheet tray and put them on the grill that way, because we are not going to waste. There's no sense in wasting this good tofu that we have marinated up. You can see how juicy that is. So I have my skewers made up here. A little bit of space in between each one of them. And now we're actually gonna exit the kitchen and we're gonna head outside to the grill. Okay, so I have my pellet grill heated to 350 here. The best thing about a pellet grill is you just turn on the knob and then you let it cook. Don't pay attention to the other stuff I'm cooking on there. Thanksgiving's coming up. So we'll just put these on, layer them on here, and this will not take very long at all. It's probably gonna be maybe 5 minutes per side, and the tofu will be done nice and pretty. Now, while our tofu is out on the grill cooking, we are going to make the vinaigrette for our salad. So this is going to be a fresh basil vinaigrette for our spinach salad. It calls for 1/4 cup of raspberry vinegar, but my Walmart did not have raspberry vinegar. So we're just going to use balsamic vinegar. I really like it already, so no, it's not going to have the raspberry flavor, but it'll be just fine. And as always, if you don't like this kind of salad dressing, just use that good old ranch. There's no problem with that at all. Okay, so we're just eyeballing a bunch of that. So, I don't know, 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar. We're gonna add a little bit of Dijon mustard. I love when we use the same herb twice because that means it's not going bad. So we're gonna use about a tablespoon of basil. More or less based on your taste. Basil is not my favorite, admittedly. So I'm just gonna use about a tablespoon of that. What's next? Some salt and pepper. And we're just gonna eyeball that one. As much or as little as you like. I'm gonna add in a little bit of lime juice, maybe about 1/2 teaspoon or so. And then I'm gonna add in a generous amount of oil. I'm gonna say maybe 2 tablespoons of oil there. A little bit of garlic. Again, this garlic that comes out the jar is good for me. Add that in there. And you adjust this based on how many people you're feeding. So there's just 2 of us tonight. This will be plenty of salad dressing for us, and we will probably even have some left over to keep. So that's why I'm doing it in this little jar here. It has a lid so that I can keep it. And then I'm just going to blend this all together in my little magic bullet it is, and that will be good to go. So I got that nice and blended. It definitely looks like a vinaigrette. It's pretty airy. It is on the tart side, probably because I didn't have the raspberry in there. So if you want this to be a little bit sweeter, maybe add a little bit of brown sugar. I like it tart. Overall, not too bad. So here I'm just assembling my salad. So I have my bed of spinach, and then there's some toppings that you can put on top there, some fruit, nuts, things like that. I just conveniently have a protein-packed salad topper, which has nuts, pistachios, edamame, cranberries, all those good things in it already. So that's just really convenient for me to throw on top here for this easy weeknight. And then here I have my balsamic vinegar basil dressing that I made. So I'm just gonna take some of that and just drizzle it across the top. We all know when we have a balsamic, we don't need a whole lot of it. It's just a little vinaigrette, getting all that good flavor. Like I said, I will have this left over, so I'm just gonna keep it in the fridge for the rest of the spinach that I have. And my tofu came off the grill. It looks really good. There are some pieces with some good little grill marks on there. I like to see a little bit of that char. Go ahead and take it off just for easiness. So here you go. You have your easy tropical luau all made up. You've got your shrimp, which is really your tofu, all grilled up. You have your salad, pretty much what we had there, and you have a completely plant-based meal